Oh, hello. Yes, before I start today's actual video, I thought I need to make a box, a storage, a thing out of a Kleenex box. And I thought, well, I don't know if I'm not trying to say, you wouldn't be able to figure this out, but maybe there's people that, wouldn't think of it. So I thought I'd just show you how I do this, how I turn them into storage boxes and keep them strong on the edges. So I take my scissors and I cut from the opening, whatever the opening is, on the plastic up into the corner this way, in on all four corners, so that you've got a corner for a sort of, well, more or less 45-degree corner on all four corners. Now it doesn't matter on the inside; it's not going to catch or anything like that. It's just an easier way than trying to cut in and do all that and then push it down. So I just cut into the corners just to make my life easier. Then I go in and I rip out all this plastic, which I didn't do in advance. I did cut the corners, and then I thought, oh, maybe I should share this. So I just, rip out all the plastic, and some is easier to come out than others. Some of them, they really glue in. They do not want this falling out on you. But others comes out, and if it rips a little, I wouldn't worry about it. It's going to be hidden, and even if it's not. Now, if you feel like, you'd like to have all of your storage matching, you want to use all the same papers, or you want to paint them, you can. I would use a like more of a chalk paint than just an ordinary acrylic paint. But if all you've got is acrylic paint, these will paint up. I mean, they're not an outdoor thing. You're going to be using them inside on a shelf usually, so they'll paint up and be fine. Then what I do is I put glue on the edges. I'm not doing it today because I'm in a hurry to try and get the video going. I thought I'd just show you sort of how I do this. Then I would glue, and I put a lot of glue on the edge here, and then I always make sure that the dust is out too, like the tissue dust. Because there's always tissue dust in the bottoms of these boxes, even if you don't see it. So just kind of hammer it out into your garbage can or whatever, and then once you've glued it, get some paper clips, and they can be long, they can be short. It's what you've got. Not the teeny tiny ones; they won't hold good enough. But if I can get my paper clips open, I'm weak today. Okay, come on. There we go. Don't be mean. There we go. Okay. So when I'm putting them on, what I want to make sure is the long side is on the inside, because it's going to hold this down properly. So just make sure that you do that. Make sure that you get over on the edges, and you're going to put a lot of paper clips along. Paper clip the other end first, but just always check that your long side is on the inside because it holds things better. And then you're going to put the paper clips about that far apart. It's an inch, maybe, inch and a half maybe. Because you want to catch all of this and push it so that it is being actually glued together rather than just sitting there and then it pops open and all the rest. So you want to make sure that you've got them, as many paper clips as you feel you need. Use them. And then you go around. Now, if your ends are like this one, kind of like this, and they can come open, put a little glue in there. I've got to glue this one because I am going to be putting stuff into it immediately. So just pop a little bit of glue on there. Just kind of wiggle your glue bottle around as best you can and get a bunch of glue in there best you can. I mean, it doesn't have to be on the very edges even, because by the time you put stuff into it, or by the time you get these ends and sides glued down, you've got a pretty good sturdy box. The edges become really strong by doing this folding in technique rather than chopping them off and doing that, which I have seen a couple of people with different, not with these boxes but with other boxes that they're going to be using for storage. Then they cut the top off. But if you use the top as part of the system and make it part of you roll your top over, then you've got that extra strength from the rolled over top, because the cardboard itself is pretty strong. It's pretty good cardboard that they put. I don't know why. They do put pretty good, cardboard. I mean, it's not extra thick, but it is pretty decent. And you can use these boxes, you can use these for all sorts of things, including making books, like making a journal or something like that. Like, look at things that you like to make. They make really nice storage for journals. If you make a journal, that'll just sit in there nicely. You don't even have to extend it, because the journal, if your journal is thicker than your box, it'll just stand out on your shelf and look really pretty. But it gives it something to hold it. So yeah, it's this is how I do it. No, I mean, I'm going to have to go back and take all these things out and then glue and then put them back in again. But I wanted to just show you. And then you leave that. You just leave it sit. You can put stuff into it if you want to. Because at this point, I mean, it's being held really well. Your glue is going to dry properly and hold everything together. There it is. It's done, and you can use it right away. You don't have to wait until it's dry and then take everything off. Unless you're putting something in that you really don't want to catch on as you're trying to pull the things out, or it's going to fill the whole thing, and you don't want to do that. So yeah. Now I'm using this for my pens. I was going to put them into this plastic case, but they don't all fit. And I thought, well, okay, I need another thing. And I mean, I don't care if they're in any particular order. The cases that they come in, the little plastic boxes that they come in, are all fine and good, right until you want to take a pen out, and then they're not. So I'll use that for something else, and these can all go in here. And these were my ones that I showed before in another video that came from a dollar store. They're from Dollarama, which I don't know if you've got a Dollarama where you are, but these were from a dollar store. I don't care if they're the best. I'm not an artiste. I'm a crafter. If my coloring isn't great, so be it. I'm not an artist. I craft. And I have fun crafting, and I'm not worrying about stuff like that. They may be mismarked and not the best in the house, but I don't care. I was going to mention with these pens before I shut down and get ready for the rest of the video. When you've got pens like this, if you stand them up, especially cheap ones, the inside is not divided. This one happens to be a divided pen. It has, on one side it's got a wide tip, and on the other side it's got a narrow tip. But the inside's not divided. It's just one big thing of ink. Like, it's sort of like a felt in there, I imagine, with ink on it. When you stand it up like this, you are basically making all the ink go down to that end. So as you're using it, this end potentially could dry out. If you've got, especially like I say, cheap ones that are double-ended or anything, especially those, you want to make sure that you lay them down, and that way you won't have that problem. You won't have your pens going dry at one end or the other because you've stood them up for too long and the ink has sort of gone down. Because we tend to, as artists, we tend to favor one end of a pen or the other, one style of head or the other. I prefer these little ones on these because I'm not great at coloring, so I tend to draw more and not try and fill in. I find these awkward to use because you've got to use them perfectly, and I'm not perfect at these things by any of this shape of the imagination. I did do some coloring on the folio we've been working on, and I will show you that when I come back. I wasn't going to show you any coloring. I was just going to do it all and then come back and do others. But I thought, there are people out there who are like me. You're not a great colorer. You color things your own way and you get it done, and you're not shading and you're not doing all that stuff. I want to encourage you to just do it. Just color. I mean, color is something that we want and need in our lives, And when we've got an opportunity to color and make things nice and fit us and all the rest of it, and then we don't because we don't want other people to laugh at us. I'm going to shut this off now. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do some more stuff on the folio. I'm really excited to show you the folio, but I got to get these out of the way now and get prepped. Okay, I will talk to you in a few. Alrighty, I'm back. Okay, I've reorganized my desk. I've actually had something to eat, a little bit of a rest, had a drink, and now I am ready to start playing. You can see, okay, hang on, let me turn this over. We'll start on the back. This would have been the picture that you saw in the last video as its thumbnail. And you can see that I've colored since you originally saw the thing. This whole kit was done in what they call black and white. And I realized when I was painting, I realized that I did not do this on the laser printer. It was done on the inkjet, which means that it picks up the ink. So I have to be careful when I'm actually putting wet onto this. But I managed to paint several flowers on the back and the bee and make it look a little dressed up. I did the tiny bee and the other bee as well and made it a little dressed up. And I was using these, what are they called? Art Deco or something. They call them metallics. They're not metallics. Not in the North American metallics paint set meaning. They are pearls. There is the difference in pearls and metallics. Metallics is shinier. Pearls have a gleam, more like, whereas metallics will shine. Even the silver is not actually a metallic. It's more of a pearl gray than a metallic silver. I didn't really mind, because the yellow showed up nice. And I started off watering down the yellow, and I ended up making it thicker, dumping out some of the water from it. I have this nifty little thing I got. I think there was like 6 in a pack. Little paint tray thing. It's very handy. I think I got like the bunch of them at the Dollar Tree. They were in a package, and there were several of them in the package, and they're really thin. So they do have a nice sized little bowl in them, and they have this center thing which is really handy for setting your water in or for using to spread out, which is what I used with the yellow. I scooped it out of its thing and spread it out here so that it would dry a little bit faster. And then I used the thickened, with the water evaporated out of it, the thickened paint to actually paint my guys here. Then I went and I turned over to the front and I used pens for that, and they were these pens. They are Dollarama. They come 12 in a pack. There are a variety of colors in each pack, and the only color that kind of repeats from pack to pack is black, and it's not in every pack. I don't think. It might be in every pack, but I have, in 3 packs, I got 2 blacks out of it. Now, I didn't pay anything for these. We have a policy in our building. It's sort of an unwritten policy amongst the tenants that if you have something that you're not using or you don't want, you just leave it downstairs in the lobby there's a little shelf down there. We just kind of put it on the shelf or on the floor, and you put a little sign on it that says free. And then somebody who wants it takes it home. So that's where we got these, and we got actually 3 packs. And normally at the Dollarama, they're $4. The price tags were on the package. And I showed these in an unwrapping. They're called Artist Series on them, and they're a double-ended type, so they've got the wide end and the narrow end. Anyway, those are what I used for painting or coloring all of my little red flowers and all of my leaves, and everything. They're not fantastically done. Because it's a black and white image, it had natural shading and things on it, which is, great, because then, you can go ahead and put in just a solid color in it, and it naturally does its bit of shading and stuff. Anyway, I liked it. Now, this in the middle, you might recognize this as a pile of cranberries. That's what it is. We had cranberries, in the bag when we finished making the cranberry sauce that we were making out of it. I liked the cranberries, so I cut them off, and I fussy cut them, and I put them away, and I had them sitting over in a drawer, and I found them, and I thought, oh, those are nice. They're a nice red color, and that's where the red on the flowers on the front, that's where the idea for that, came from, is to sort of match the red with the cranberries. And I really quite like how it made the image on the front much nicer, much brighter. And I have no idea what this is supposed to be. There's a ribbon or something sort of draping all around. But what this thing sticking up in the air is, I don't know. Anyway, I colored it. I made it, with a gold color that was in with the pearls. It was this side, which is bright gold. It's supposed to be. These are 2-ounce bottles, so it's really decent. I think I got the whole set for like $15 on Amazon. It was an Amazon buy, but I look for deals like that, and I don't care if it was made in China. I don't really care, because if I find that a lot of the things that we're buying in North America, especially in Canada, is very, very overpriced for what you're getting, and compared to other places. Then on the inside, I painted this with a kind of I thought it was more of a pink. It was called pink, but it's actually a purple, which is fine. And I just colored it in with my pen. These are more like a marker. And I just used the marker, and I used the small ends, and just used the marker and colored those in. Used the same green as I used on the front, and just did some. This is the thing when you're doing things and you're dressing. When you're making these folios, you want to make them something that is yours, like something that is more you. Unless all you want to do is just practice putting together kits, which is what a lot of the kits I've done previous to this one have been. I've been sort of practicing, getting to know how a folio not should go together, but how the kits go together in different patterns and different designs and different ways of putting in, like this page, a different way of having a page fastened in that still is a page, opens and closes, but now it has this little pocket. So when you're trying to figure out your own take on something, then you can go off, do things. And what I want to try and start doing is bringing in the skills that I have from other crafts. And I have a lot of other crafts behind me, let me tell you. I want to bring some of those in. And today I'm going to be bringing in something from the card making world than it is from journals and junk journals and folio making and all of that. It is from the card making world. And I want to bring that in. And I'll show you that in a second. Now, when I was last talking about this thing, I said, well, I don't have anything to go in here. Maybe we can do a pocket, blah, blah, blah. But I do have something. I found something, and actually I only had to, I have no idea what kit this came from, but it was from a kit. And all it was a partial sheet. It was a back from something, but it matches. I mean, a lot of these folios match from folio to folio to folio. So there are things in them that you can put into any folio that you are making, because the coloring is often the same, because you've got a lot of it is grunge type. It seems to be a big theme for folios, is the grunge look. I'm not really fond of grunge. I don't like dirt that much. But I work with what I've got. And anyway, I found this partial sheet when I was digging around for other things. I thought, I can use that. It almost fit perfectly. I just had to trim it down a little bit, top and side, and then it fit in. So I'm going to be gluing that in, but before I glue that in place, I want to do some stuff with it. So we're going to set this guy aside. We're done with that for today. Now the other thing I have, can you see that, or is that really glaring? Let me take the card out of the bag, and maybe that'll help with the glare. Anti-glare, there we go. Anti-glare. Okay, you can see that now. Now this is what this stamp set has in it. This is a stamp set I got in a kit from one of the magazines years ago. And I've never used the stamp set. I mean, it's been sitting. I have so many things like that I've gotten and looked at them and thought, oh, that's so cool. And watched somebody else using it and thought how wonderful it looked, and made, comments about how great it was, but then never used it. It just sits in the thing, and I've never used it. Never really found a use for it, or never made a card that I wanted to use it on, that kind of thing. I just never used it. It sat on my shelf with the other things. Anyway, now I have a use for it because it will go in this folio. It'll go in lots of folios actually, because it's got that sort of, it's got patterns that are that sort of grunge type of idea to them. So I do want to use this and make something, put some on here. I may later on put a pocket on, but I'm not going to worry about that at this point. Right now, what I want to do today is do a bit of decorating, a bit of painting, a bit of, stuff. Now, what I'm thinking is my inks, my stamp inks are all distress inks, but not oxides. And so they are not, if I use pen on them or use liquid on them, ink or paint or whatever I use, they are not, they're going to, the liquid is going to move the ink that has, been used for stamping. I want to kind of prevent that. The best way of me doing that is to actually emboss. Now I have a clear embossing stamp. I also have a black embossing stamp. And I have two kinds of ink. I have one that's, or not ink, embossing powder. One that's black and one that's clear. They're the only two I have. I have no idea why. But I haven't done a lot of embossing actually. When I turn on my heat gun, which is what I got specifically for embossing, it still smells new when it come on. I turned it on a few minutes before I started just to make sure that it was running and working and heating up and everything, and it still smells new. So there is that. But I'm going to, so I'm not an experienced embosser by any shape of the imagination, but I'm going to play and see what I can do. I'm going to use these stamps because I think they're really appropriate for this folio. And then I'm going to, after I try and get my card back into the thing that I know I took it out of, then I'm going to color it with either the pens or the paints or a combination of. I'm not going to use my ink pads to color. I just feel like I'd like to use a brush and paint, or use the pens, and I think that would be really fun. So sorry I was sprinkling while you were there. Sorry, I lifted it up and it was closer to the mic. Okay, so what am I going to stamp? Well, I was looking at and thinking of these flowers because I am a flower kind of girl, and I was thinking of these flowers. I don't really feel like doing tickets that don't mean anything or that sort of thing. So now if I can get them off of the thing without wrecking anything for that. Oh, I should have pulled this off earlier. Wow, these are really stuck. When you got stamps, you should use them. I think, holy crow, they're stuck down. Okay, got it. I was thinking of this pretty flower. No, it's too wide for my thing here. I don't know if you can see that. It's too wide. It's too wide for my thing. That's okay, because I can always do it on an angle, but I'd rather not. I'd like to do it, down toward the bottom. I think down here would be nice. Now, I think I'm going to need to get my stamp thing out, my stamp platform, just so that if I need to, I can do it more than once. My stamp platform is different, probably from yours. I bought a cheap one, and I don't regret it one moment. It's got the magnet on it. It's got the magnets. I've got an avalanche going on. I generally have avalanches going on when I'm crafting. These magnets are really hard. I wrap them in tape so I could move them easier. It's actually quite nice. It's got the fluffy parts and magnets and all the rest. So, it's pretty decent. And it's got the corner, so you can push things into the corner. And I haven't had a problem with it. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this here, like that, down in the corner. And I'm going to set this guy, actually maybe if I move it over a little bit from the corner. Measure how far. I'm going to bring it to the 1-inch size. And that way I've got room if I, because it's quite a bit. I don't know if you can't see it if I don't move you out. It's quite a bit in from the edge. So, yeah, so I've got things flying all over the place now because I've got something leaning on things that want to fall over and all. Okay, there we go. If things can fall when I'm around, they're going to fall. Okay, so there, I think I'm going to like it there. I'm going to have to move it so that I can see it. You may not be able to see it as as good as me. Let's just say that. I was trying to make it so that the avalanche over there isn't actually an avalanche. It doesn't actually wreck things. So yeah, so it sticks over just a little, if you can notice that. So to get it lined up, close my door. I'm debating if I want to do more than one thing on this page. I might take, because just, there is writing on this page, which is kind of cool because, the rest of the thing has writing. I know it's not quite black and white. It's got that sort of beige to it, but it's fine. All right, let's get signing out. This is a clear stamp. Okay. This is a clear stamp. So it'll stamp clear. You won't be able to see it. But we want to get lots on. And since this stamp has never been used, I'm going to have to stamp more than once. We know that. Lay it down. Give it a rub. Yeah, I like the stamp pad. I mean, it was nice and flat. It wasn't expensive. The other stamp pads that other people have, they cost a lot on Amazon Canada. All right, so we had to stop to change a battery. Okay, so I've got that there. Now I want to get I've got to do this one more time because I really can't see how that is. Now, one thing that I didn't do, and I maybe should have, is I did not put my powder. We'll see how it goes, see how many black freckles I get everywhere. There, hopefully that's good. All right, let's take you off. I took away the things without. You're back on here. I'm going to leave my stamp in there just in case I have to redo things a little. Because you can re-stamp if you need to. Okay, let's get out the embossing powder. Sprinkle it on. See how it will work. See how we did. This is really clumpy. Getting the soft brush and just taking off. You just go around the edges a little bit and trying to take off the stuff that you don't. Oh, I just took off a bunch that I do want. Give me this. Put it back on. Sort of. Mostly back on. If it can go wrong, I'll force it to. Okay, I think that looks okay. Without brushing everything off. Now, don't breathe. Take this. I think this is the first time I've used this. I used the other one, which was the clear that I had. I used it, I think, once, maybe twice. But that's how often I've used my heat gun, and I've used all my embossing stuff and all the rest. So I've got embossing powder everywhere because I'm not that smart. Okay, we want to hold this with this, apparently. And then we want to turn this on. Now, this is going to make noise. Gary's going to cut it out, and I'm going to shut up. All right, that's done. Yeah, it turned out not too bad. I have a few little flakes that, you know, that I could have prevented with the powder. I mean, you know, I should have used it, but I didn't. So, you know, I don't necessarily remember everything in the steps I'm supposed to take. Anyway, I like that. That looks quite nice. Now I'm thinking. See, I like the train. I really like the train, and I like to use the train. Oh, the train is coming out nicely. Oh, that's got a big long thing of smoke. Let's not wreck the smoke. There's the train. I do kind of like this lady. Maybe we'll use the lady too. Okay, let's bring this out. I just have embossing powder everywhere now. Okay, so now don't be doing that. That's not nice. Okay, let's put you down. We're gonna hold it down here now. And now, do I want the lady and the train? All right, now this time let's be smart and use this. Now, what these are normally filled with is baking soda. You can feel it, and you can actually taste it if you taste it, which I've done. So by rubbing this on here, what you're doing is you're taking baking soda and you're adding it over top of the oils and what have you that come from your fingers and go transfer onto your sheets of paper. And then as long as you don't reintroduce your fingerprints, everything's good. But it's kind of that and a combination of that and the static electricity that would be in the paper, which the baking soda also cancels out because you're taking it out with that. I want my train, which is this way. I don't want necessarily the whole train. Kind of would like my train just kind of coming in on the edge. I put it on an angle, and then I want my lady kind of here, and I think that's enough. I think that's lots on the sheet. So I think that's what we're going to do. So let me straighten the sheet out. This is not really straight. And then let me straighten my train out a little. This is not really straight. Make sure that it's not on the edge where it's going to hold the thing open, because we don't need that. And then let's straighten the lady out, because all those things would be annoying to me if the lines sort of went right. So stick it, and then I'm pushing down just to make sure it stays on this thing, because these are not necessarily, they were really stuck on the sheet over there, but they're not necessarily really stuck. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, yeah. So now we're going to do some more here and some more here. We'll do these two at the same time. That one keeps wanting to sort of stroll around. It's stuck on one part and not on the rest. That's okay. We will get it. We will get it. And I'm inking the whole stamp, even though I know I don't have to. And I'll have to clean off that other stamp before I put it away, because even if this is clear, it's still stuff on your stamp. So, all right, a stamper. I'm going to stamp these a couple of times just to make sure they get stamped properly. I'm sorry there's a glare. The light seems to be at a different angle tonight. I'm not sure why. Just seems to be at a different angle. So getting a little bit of a glare on the corner here, and I'm sorry about that. I can try and move it over a little. There, that's better. How about there? Anyway, and I'm going to stamp these twice, just to make sure that we get a good stamp. Because, even though we're playing and we're just sort of, practicing and playing, I do want it nice. This is what I want to try and do is just start playing with these things in sort of my world, And by that I mean, bringing in things that I have skills in other things, and not not ignoring those other skills. You want to, when you're putting these on a stamp pad, or even on one of those blocks, you want to press, but not so hard that you distort your image. So don't press so hard that this moves the thing down, because what that'll do is it will distort your image, because you're smushing the actual stamp. It's like if you squeeze it, you're going to squeeze down the actual stamp. Whereas if you just rub it and leave it on there for a little bit so that it can absorb into the paper, then you'll have better success. So here we go. Let's move these off of here. I'm not going to be coming back to restamp. Then we'll take this off. We'll close up the stamp platform. Put these back. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. There's a magic hand beside me. Okay, I took that away. Made it much easier. Okay, now I cannot see where this is, of course. We will see it. I do like this. This is a Simon Says stamp. Yeah, this is Simon Says stamp embossing powder. It's their black, and because it's been sitting in here, it's actually I gotta loosen up a little bit, or it'll clump down, and it drops down as a clump. Yeah, I'll dust that up later. Okay, let's do this. You see, it's coming in clumps, some of it, because I haven't used it, and it's been sitting there for years, actually. Oh, my train didn't come out at all. Oh dear, my train might not be good, but the train is mostly missing.
It's the phantom train.
It's a phantom train, okay. Yeah, because I don't want to have to try and restamp that. I couldn't get it back on properly, and I'm just not going to bother. Okie doke. So we're going to heat this. Yeah, I'm not happy with the clumping, and that's not the embossing powder's fault. That's mine. For leaving it sitting, doing absolutely nothing in a cupboard for years. Literally years. But you can see, like, this will last you forever. I mean, you get these, if you get this size of a jar. Now, I mean, I noticed that a lot of the jars are real small now. But this came in a Simon Says stamp kit, I'm sure. It was something that came in a kit. Back in the day when they made kits worth buying, paying the big bucks for it, and buying. Alrighty, I'm shutting up and turning on the machine. Well, that's done. I don't know. I'm not a very good stamper, I think. I think it might be just that this stuff is getting old. And, I mean, this embossing pad may be drying out. Although, you can still feel it, though. So maybe not. Might be just the way I stamp, too. But anyway, we'll color in the parts that are missing. I mean, I've got black. We'll color it in. We can even color it in shiny, because we got shiny stuff. So, but yeah, okay. So I just want that to dry a bit because I don't want to try and do anything on it. Okay, embossing done. Done and done. I'll put it behind everything over here. Anyway, I was going to take the black and see what happens if I try and fill in the train with this. It's not fancy. It's not fancy. It's filling in. It's you know, it's making marks basically. I'm trying to get an idea of what the top, you know, the outside of the train looked like, because I think it's mostly just black in this area, which might be one of the reasons it didn't actually fill in. Now there are other ways that I can make this shiny to match. I just need to get the color down first. And it won't match perfectly with the embossing powder, of course, because it'll be shiny in a different way. But it'll at least, I'll make it shiny. So, yeah. We kind of really messed that one up, but that's okay. That's okay. I mean, this is the thing, is you just kind of go with it. You don't get all upset. There's no point. There's no point. Life is like this. So there's no point in getting all upset about life and what you get handed and what you do and, you know, the things. It's not really a mistake. It's just, you know, it didn't quite work out the way you wanted. That's all. So, well, that, you know, that's colored in pretty good. I mean, you're not getting the wheels and all this stuff, but it's pretty good. Now, the lady is missing part of her hat or hair. I'm not sure which. So we're going to put it in. The flowers, they're fine. Add in a line or two, you know, like that. But it's the hat that's kind of missing. So I want to make sure we get her hat in, or her hair. Maybe it's her hair. Could be. Could be. And this is a flower over here. Some kind of flower. Yeah. Or design in the background. Anything. Could be anything. There we go. All right. Yeah, I don't know. The reason this didn't work right might be these. It might just be these. They may just not be. See, there's hardly any mark there. It's no wonder. It's there is hardly anything there. I mean, yeah, there is hardly anything there. That's why it didn't work out. You can't feel anything. I mean, like normally on these stamps, they're pretty rough on the side that's stamping, but this is kind of really super smooth. And so yeah, I can understand. It's the stamps. They were cheap. They were with the magazine. You know, they were included in the magazine. Now the magazine isn't cheap. The you know, what you get is cheap in it, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Now, how am I going to do that? Well, I could use crystal glaze, or I could use, I think this is, come on, multi-medium matte. But this is, I think, a matte finish. I think that's matte finish. And what do we have over here? We have the Cosmic Shimmer Clear Varnish Lacquer. So I could use either one. I've used both of them. This one is almost full. It's almost full. Why don't we try it? Have I even used this one? I might not have ever opened this bottle, this particular bottle. I have not. I have never opened this bottle. Well, let's get that open and see how she goes. Chop off a tiny bit. I don't want a big hole. I find a lot of times, you know, you chop open it and it's a big hole and it runs everywhere. That's not open yet. They want me to go right down to the thing here, I think. You open now? That feels like it's squeezing something out. Oh, you got little bits. That's all you want. Little bits. And this is shiny, so this should dry shiny, which gives it a shiny. And if I, don't worry about like how it's sort of going on there. Just get it on. It'll dry shiny. I think it'll dry shiny. There's not very much coming out. I haven't opened it up right. Is that better? Is that more to your liking? No, really. Oh my goodness. You're gonna be a pain, aren't you? Okay. Yeah. The ink that I used, this is coming off on my bottle as I'm scraping my bottle over the thing to try and get stuff into it. Okay, let's see. Can I open you with this? That's open. Now it's all over my hands, all over the bottle, all over me. Yeah, we're doing good. All right, let's see. Ooh, big amount. Paintbrush. This is a big paintbrush, but it's the one that's handy. Paintbrush. Smooth you out. Come on. Smooth, smooth. Oh, yeah. Well, we'll see how that dries, how it does. I'll have to put a little bit on this lady. I'm going to try the crystal, though. Crystal glaze instead of this. Because this is actually a varnish lacquer. But we'll try the other. All right, come on. This is probably not what you were expecting in this video, but, this is what I'm doing today. Is just, playing a little bit with decorating this my own way. And not worrying about it being done the way it was meant to be. Because I think if you're going to make these your own, as they like to tell you to do, then you need to actually do something that allows you to do that. This actually is allowing me to make this my own by giving me the chance to, to stamp these things on and then to color them up if I want to, or do whatever I wish with them. Now I imagine this being a varnish, I'm going to get it into, I think the water, better get it into a bit of water. I always have a little thing of water here that I can put a brush into, allow it to clean off a bit. All right, I'll just stand you there. That cleaned up. And now, what do we want to actually color, if anything? I want to color these flowers, I think. I really want to color the flowers. I don't know if I want to bother with anything on the lady or the train, other than just leave them with their shiny now. And I think I would like to do something with the flowers. Now I have this is called yellow, which it isn't. It's actually orange. Very much an orange. I don't mind. On flowers, I don't mind orange. I do love how, flowers get in these various pictures, they get all mixed up. You'll have one that's more like a daisy, and then you'll have something that's like a, something else, and they get all mixed up on these various vines as if they all belong there. But this one can be orange as well. Yellow. That's what it says on the thing. Yellow. But I mean, this is. I don't care what anybody says. That's not yellow. I know yellow. That's not yellow. So I'd like to see what the orange actually is. It's probably something horrendous. I'm almost afraid to open the container and say, "Hey, what's in there?" Oh, there. Okay, a couple of orange. Put your lid on. Now, let me see. What are you? This is orange. Let's see what real orange looks like. Okay, there's a flower here. It's exactly the same color. Somebody put the wrong color in the wrong tube. It's the same color. Look at it. That's funny. Okay. Yep, that's the same color. Yeah. Yeah, they're identical. It's not even darker, I don't think. I mean, if I put some here, no, it's the same color. It looks like, if I put a double layer of that color on there. Yeah. Yeah, somebody messed up the tubes. Oh well. Doesn't matter. Now, what do we want? Pink. Pink would be nice. What's this? Medium pink. Let's see what medium pink is to these guys. Pink is my favorite color. It's always my favorite color, even when I was a child. I love pink. I never had anything pink. Still don't. I don't have a lot of clothes in pink and things like that. I love pink. I like the look of it. I like the feel of pink, I think. Pink makes you feel good. Or at least it does me. It's soft and gentle and kind. Yeah, I know. Colors, do they have things like that? Yes. Well, to me they do. Other people they don't, but to me they do. They can be kind. I once slept for several months in a room that was orange walls. It was the most horrendous thing to wake up to in the mornings. And every time I would go to bed, I would go in that room. You go in and you try and relax in your room. You're sharing a house with a bunch of other people. And you just want to get away for a while and relax. And I would go in my room to relax. It was like, I was always angry in that room. And I would wake up and I would try and get out of the room as quick as I could so I didn't start to feel angry. Yes, orange can do that. Yeah, if you're going through especially a stressful time, which I was, can do that. It can actually make you angry. And I experienced it, so I know that is true. Anyway, there. Okay, so we've got orange and pink flowers. Let's do a little bit of green. Green, where are you? I put these things in this box because I didn't like them in the container. Aqua mint. Aqua mint. That's an odd name for a thing. I mean, should be either or, shouldn't it? Either aqua or mint, but that's apparently aqua mint. And this is called frost blue. Now I had another one that was called dark blue, and it really wasn't. I had another one that was called light blue, and it really wasn't. So, it takes your chances with these things. Where's my green? Green. Turquoise green light. That is not the blue I know. That's blue. I don't know what my name's blue. I mean, navy, but, And you're not green. You're frost blue. Frost blue keeps popping back up. I got two of them, that's why. Aha! That's the second double. Is there a green down there? I got pale green here. Oh, there's a lime. Well, we got greens now. We got black as well, but we don't need black anymore, so it's good. We're all good, hon. I've got the two that I had. I want to try this aqua one too. Awkward one. Here, get it too. Thank you. It's a little too blue for my liking, on leaves. So that's aqua blue, not aqua green. Awkward green is what it is. Yeah, this is the green I was using last night. This one, it's called light green, pale green. Well, it's not really what you'd call pale, but, we'll pretend. We'll pretend. We've got some leaf here that's for sure leaf. I don't want to do anything in the parts that I don't know if that's a for sure, because it might be not. It might be something else, and then I do like the coloring over top of the embossed. I like that. it actually is really quite nice because you can just color, and the embossed is there. It sort of just is there, and you can color over top, and it doesn't cover it up. It sort of allows it to come through. Now apparently you can take see, this is a leaf, but I don't know why it's got all this other stuff through it. I don't know. Sometimes there's something here, but I don't want to color it because I don't know what it is. Oh, train. Train, no good. Dip my arm in the train. That wasn't a good thing. These two things here almost look like two ladybugs, but I'm going to color them green. I want them to be ladybugs. There. There's another thing here that looks like it could be a leaf. And I think that's about it for what I can actually successfully color. There is something here that looks like a flower. Let me see. Alright, I want to see if I can color this little flower over here. Then we're going to be done with coloring this sheet. Then the only thing left to do with this little sheet is glue it in the book. There. Alright. So we decorated one sheet today. Success. Success. One sheet. And I've decorated a bunch and showed you, what all I've done. So I'm going to glue this in here, but I have to let the black dry before I try doing that. Because I can't press where the black is. The black for here and here both have to dry. And those varnishes, they need time to dry. So I'm going to stop the video here, and we will come back in the next video, and we will put this in place and get some pockets and things in place. And that might be all we do. We might tuck in some of the ephemera. I will show you all of the ephemera that comes with this. I do have some flowers I'd like to put in various places as part of the decorations. But we'll approach all that and do all that in the next video. Okay, I will bid you adieu. We will see you the next time. Please like and subscribe and all the rest of that goodies. Now that you've finished watching the video, you must like it. The least you could do is say so. Talk to you in the next video. Bye for now.